All right, guys, Chapter 8, Part 2. We just ended off with Piaget's 4 different stages: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. Again, it's very important that you write these stages down and kind of the years that they go with these different stages. Okay, so Vygotsky. They believed in many of the same concepts, but their ideals were very differently as well. So Vygotsky felt Piaget's theories placed too much emphasis on the force within that own child. Vygotsky believed that much of cognitive development results from the child's internalization of information that is acquired socially. So we are very social beings. We learn around us. We learn how to speak from the adults that help us start making those sounds and words together. I believe in a lot that Vygotsky believed in is very much accurate. So key concepts is private speech, talking to oneself, and key components in cognitive development. With Vygotsky, he believed in scaffolding, so zone of proximal development. So this is instructions where adult adjusts the amount of guidance to match the child's present level abilities. So this is like riding a bicycle. With McKenna, it was so funny because when McKenna learned how to ride a bike, I was actually teaching scaffolding. She's like, Dad, I'm going to ride my bike. So normally when you start off, you ride your bike and you learn how to pedal and steer around with your training wheels on it. And then once you're like, okay, I'm done with the training wheels, take them off. So then at this point, your dad or your mom or caregiver, whoever is going to be around to teach you to ride a bike, they might have their hand on the seat and the hand on the handlebars to kind of help you steer in the correct direction because you no longer have the stability on each side. So once they start pedaling, they might let go of the seat and just help you steer a little bit. And then once the little kid feels comfortable with that, then all of a sudden the parent might just let go of the handlebars and see what happens. So comfortably, eventually, the adult will totally let go, and that child will gain that confidence in order to ride that bike individually by himself. This also helps them with reading. We might help read the book to them several times, and then they might pinpoint, they might read along with us, and then we might just help them with certain words until they can actually read that book all on their own. Erikson, I really like Erikson's psychosocial stages. I think he's pretty spot on. After this chapter, you guys are gonna do maybe a pop quiz, which might be extra credit pop quiz next Thursday, and we're gonna watch a video on the child of rage. We'll be able to place these pieces with Erikson's theories and just have a little discussion about them. So Erikson's psychosocial stages encompass the lifetime span. So it's the entire life, and each stage is defined by a conflict that must be resolved for healthy personality development when we go further on in life. So most research has focused on trust in infants, identity formation in adolescents, and generality in middle-aged adults. So predictions are received mixed support in both research. So this is a very important one. You are going to have to write down all 8 stages, the ages that it goes with, and kind of what happens in these stages. So you can copy down this whole entire chart. It's very important for you to be able to know these. So with Erikson's, we have our trust versus mistrust. This is birth to about 1 year of age. And this is where infants learn to trust or mistrust depending on the degree of regularity of care, love, and affection. So it doesn't even have to be the actual biological mother or father. This could be a grandparent, it could be an aunt or uncle, it could be an adoptive parent. So it is who is going to be treating them and loving them and feeding them and making sure that they're safe. This is your trust and mistrust. If they do not have this, it's very hard to trust in the future, so they have a hard time going to each different step successfully. Our lives, we have to trust people. So if you didn't trust me, would you want to come into class? Would you want to be able to talk to me? Would you want to be opened up in class and have these crazy topics that we discuss all the time? Probably not. Your second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is 1 to 3 years of age, so children learn to express their will and independence, to exercise some control, to make choices. If not, they experience shame and doubt. Your initiative versus guilt, so 3 to 6 years of age, so the children begin to initiate activities, to plan and undertake tasks, and enjoy developing motor and other abilities. If not allowed to initiate it, it may make them feel stupid or considered a nuisance. So even when they draw this crazy picture and you're like, what in the world is this? Like, this is amazing. They're like, it's a dog. I'm like, this is a great dog. Look at that. You can see the eyes, you can see the ears. So we kind of have to boost them up in order for them to make sure that they can continue on this. Because if you're like, that is an ugly dog, I don't know what the heck that is. That looks like a glob. So they're going to have a sense of guilt and not want to do anything further. Your industry versus inferiority. This is 6 years to puberty. So children develop industrious and feel pride in accomplishing tasks and making things and doing things. If not encouraged or if rebuffed by parents and teachers, they may develop a sense of inferiority. So if they are doing gymnastics and they really actually stink at gymnastics, they can't even do like a cartwheel or anything that without falling over. You're like, you're so stupid. Never do that again. They might not want to do anything in life that has any activities because they think they might stink at all activities. So even though they're like, they fall over doing a somersault or anything like that, that's super simple. Like, good job, great try, do it again. So we're trying to boost up that confidence for them. Identity versus role confusion. This is your adolescence ages. So adolescents must make the transition from childhood to adulthood. So this establishes an identity, develops a sense of self, and considered a future occupational identity. Otherwise, role confusion can, result. So even though adolescents are still pretty young at this stage, it's very important that we kind of have an outlook in life of kind of who we want to be and what future we want to have for ourselves. Having a future goal is a very good concept. It helps bring us, establishes our own confidence and makes us want to do better in order to reach those end goals. If we do not have it, we have confusion. This means that we might end up in our mama's basement or daddy's basement and playing video games with potato chips all around us because we really don't know what we want to do at this point. And at that point, you're kind of confused and you're just thrown off at the whole idea. Intimacy versus isolation. This is young adulthood. Young adults must develop intimacy, the ability to share with, care for, and commit themselves to another person. So avoiding intimacy brings a sense of isolation and loneliness. So as you can see, if we don't have this, we're not going to be able to really have this. Very important that you see that. So your intimacy, it doesn't even really have to be a sexual desire. It can be close friendships. You have to commit yourself to your best friend. If we don't have that, then we have kind of that seclusion and that isolation because you're having a fear of rejection. If you can't trust people, you might have a fear of rejection, which all of these can incorporate with this one little goal right here. So this is very important to be able to have that bond with another individual so you can care for, you can commit to, you can have a discussion with, and not have the sense of being bothersome or being judged. Generality versus stagnation. This is middle adulthood. These two usually get confused, so make sure you write these in correct order. So this one is middle adulthood. So middle-aged people must find some ways of contributing to the development of the next generation. Failing this, they may become self-absorbed, emotionally improvised, and reach a point of stagnation. So if we're not trying to, now that we're all grown up and stuff, we have to try to make the better people that are younger than us to help raise them to a better generation. If we have nothing to contribute, we're like, meh, let's go party. Do you really contribute to anything? You might be a little bit stag inside of a development where you might be stuck in your, young adulthood life. Middle adulthood can also be a time where we have males and females that go into crisis because they're like, I don't have anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't live my life the way I wanted to. And they just go kind of bonkers. Ego and despair. So this is your later adulthood. So this is individuals review their lives. And if they're satisfied and feel a sense of accomplishment, they will experience ego integrity. And if dissatisfied, they may sink in despair. The highest ranking of suicide in America is white males of the age about 50 and older. This is because, I don't know why it's really because, they might look at their lives a little differently. I'm really not too sure. But the highest rate is because of these males are white and over the age of 50. They want to kill themselves a little bit better. So they might look at their lives and don't feel satisfied. They may have lost their house, may have quit their job or lost their job, or their wives maybe divorced them. So at this point, they're dissatisfied and they sink into despair and they can't really move forward in their lives in a happier way. Okay, this is your Erikson psychosocial stages of development. Make sure you write down each step in a way that you're going to be able to read it and understand it. Now we get to go into birthing. Okay, with stages of prenatal development. What time is it? 11:21. Okay, stages of prenatal development. You have your period of zygote, which is your 1 to 2 weeks. So this is your zygote attaches to the uterine lining at 2 weeks. The zygote is the size of a period mark at the end of a sentence. So this stage is still kind of like traveling down, and then it goes into and attaches to the uterine lining right there. So your period of embryo is 3 to 8 weeks. So this is where your major systems and organ structures of the body develop, and period ends when the first bone cell appears. At 8 weeks, the embryo is about 1 inch long and weighs about 1/7 of an ounce. And then you have your period of fetus. This is your 9 weeks to 38 weeks, or whenever you deliver. This is a stage of rapid, crazy growth. So this is when the baby actually develops into a human and no longer into a baby gummy dinosaur. So this is how a baby is formed. It does not show an actual birth. I have actual births that I can actually show you guys, and it's pretty fascinating. So here we go with this one, if it's going to come up. Pretty intense music though. Hey, the sperm is going up into the fallopian tubes. Woo. Fallopian tubes going through. Oh, there's the egg. Gonna implant. At this point, it breaks through and the cells are gonna start dividing. And travels down the fallopian tube. Now it's gonna implant the uterine lining. And something that doesn't look like it's coming through. Okay. First heartbeat. On. Out. This stage of pregnancy, the baby is getting so big, having a hard time running out of space. At about 32, 34 weeks of pregnancy, the baby will flip. Get ready to go ahead now. Brain is fully formed. Develop. Begin to form. So that open up, separate. Baby comes down. We have a baby! Always love that video. Okay. All right, so we're going to end this at our second stage. We're going to go into tetragens and we're going to watch another video. At this point, I have to go teach my developmental psychology class, so I will finish up this chapter when I get back. We're ending off on slide 19 and we'll pick up at slide 20. See you guys soon.